Our top story, Syria says terrorists have launched 3 separate attacks on security forces in the capital, Damascus. State media say 3 people were wounded when an army truck exploded as it was moving in central Damascus. The victims were the vehicle's driver and 2 passengers. Gunmen also killed 2 ranking officers in the capital's Barza neighborhood. The violence occurred just a day after activists said nearly 60 people were killed in different incidents across Syria. The bloodshed came despite a ceasefire and the presence of a team of UN monitors to implement the truce. The UN currently has 11 unarmed observers in Syria and plans to increase that number to 300. Syrian activist Mimi al-Laham says Western-backed armed groups are not representatives of the Syrian people.
We see them as an extremist sectarian element that is supported by our foreign enemies. And of course, the Syrian people are suspicious of foreigners trying to divide us. And we are suspicious of anything that is clearly pro-Israel, as this insurgency is. And of course, we know U.S.'s history in the region, what it has done in Iraq and in Libya and in other places. It aims to destroy these countries. So by and large, the Syrian people are not in support of this insurgency, and we would like safety and stability to return to our country.
Palestinians have held
to 300 at the earliest time possible, as stipulated in the endorsed UN Security Council resolution. Lavrov pointed out that the bigger number of the monitors is the more information we get that is based on objective facts. He voiced regret over the presence of blackmail that is resorted to by certain news media which rely on sources that are not trustworthy. Chairman of the International Committee at the Russian Duma Council, Alexei Pushkov, has said that all the members of the Political Committee of the Europe Council's Parliamentary Society have admitted that the stands of Western countries towards Syria have not been realistic. Pushkov, the Russian chief delegate to the Parliamentary Society of Europe's Council in its session held in Strasbourg, added that Britain's representative at the Society directly declared that it was time for the West to take more serious stance towards Russia's pretexts regarding the situation in Syria than it had used to do before. Pushkov referred to a charge in the stance of Europe Council Parliamentary Society towards Russia regarding the Syrian crisis. He pointed out that although many of the European states formerly criticized Russia for its use of the veto twice to block resolutions against Syria at the UN Security Council, yet all of them are now unanimous regarding Russia's role in solving the Syrian issue. Pushkov affirmed that the implementation of the UN Special Envoy to Syria Kofi Annan's plan does not depend on Russia alone and its influence on the Syrian government, but also on the stance of those who call themselves the friends of Syria and their support of the armed opposition in the country. Syrian expatriates in Germany, along with Arab and Turkish citizens, held a march in the city of Frankfurt. The participants affirmed their rejection of any foreign interference in Syria's internal affairs, expressing support of the comprehensive reform program introduced in the country. Marchers shouted slogans which expressed their full support of Syria in the face of the plots targeting it. The participants renewed their confidence in the reforms implemented in Syria. Upon the invitation of Australians for Syria Group, the Syrian community in Australia organized a Solidarity Day during which participants expressed adherence to their motherland, Syria, and their keenness to offer all support needed in order to fortify Syria's steadfastness in the face of all threats. In Sweden, the Syrian community organized a solidarity march during which they confirmed their full support of their motherland, Syria, stressing that foreign pressures will not affect Syria's determination to implement the political reforms in the country. In violation of all international conventions and occupied territories, Israeli occupation troops buried poisonous chemical and nuclear waste in 20 different sites in occupied Golan, the most prominent of which is located west of Sheikh Mountain. The sites were provided with special turbines which control the speed of wind and directed towards the governorate of Quneitra. Tests conducted on the samples taken from these sites indicate that the level of radiation is very high, as these chemicals were originally used by Israel as fertilizers in a farmland. With this, we end our news for today. For more information about Syria and the region, you can visit